Hi, my name is Charles Givery. I'm CEO and co-founder of DataDistillr, and today I'm going to go through the getting started tutorial here and just show you how you can do all that. So to get started, we're going to go over to DataDistillr, and the first step, of course, is I'm assuming that you've already created an account. So the next step is to create your first project. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to call this first project. Yay! This is now once you hit done, project's created. Now the next step is you have to link data to this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click on add a data source, and there are a few different paths where you can get to this particular window, but they'll all end up at the same place. So here we pick what data we want to link to our data source. For this example, we're going to use, we're going to create a file uploads bucket, but you can connect to databases, cloud storage, or APIs. So here what we're going to do is we're going to just call it that first, and that's really all we have to do. Now, I'm going to upload some Excel files here. Actually, I'm going to upload 4 files here. These files are all available in our GitHub repo of sample data. So if you want to try this out for yourself, the link will be in the description below. Okay. All right, so upload that. And there we have it. Now, I'm going to create a directory here called Excel. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a couple of files in that directory just so that we can show you some cool stuff we can do with that. All right, that's it. We're ready. Now, down here on the left, in the corner right here, we can actually see the data that we've uploaded. I'll start with this example right here. So this is a CSV file, and these are all just data files that I generated. If you click on the query button, you get this this report builder, so you can pick what columns you want. You can add a filter if you like, but really you can rename things also. But really, that's kind of all we. So once you do that, you click there and you hit run, and it will, and you can see what data is present. So, oh no, let's try that again. Sometimes that happens. And there we go. So now, once you have this, you can save your data if you want. You can schedule this job to be run on a regular basis. That's there. You can publish the data, or you can just download the results as a CSV file. But let's take a look at the next step, which is actually visualizing data. Now, before I do that, I want to just kind of highlight something about Excel files, and that is that Excel files oftentimes will contain more than one sheet. With DataDistillr, you can query the individual sheets, and so if you notice the Excel file here, we can expand that, and we see there's a sheet called data, and then if we expand that, it will show you what columns are present in this data. Now, you can, again, same thing here goes. If you click on query, it will open up the query view and do that. Now, if you have a folder full of files, you can, one of the really powerful features you can do is you can actually query that whole folder rather than the individual files. And so I clicked on the query button, and I'm going to hit run now. And what you'll see is, the data is going to look the same because we're not doing any computations on it. But what you'll see is that this query is actually rolling up all of the data in that folder into one big table. And so then you can do whatever you want with that. Okay. Now, the next step in our walkthrough here is visualizing data. So I'm going to grab this query here, and we're going to go back over here, and I'm going to paste this like this. I'm going to cut the from clause here and paste it like that. Let's get rid of that, and I'm going to throw a limit of 10 on this. Now, what this query is doing is this is taking advantage of some of DataDistillr's really powerful data enrichment functions. And what we're doing is we are taking the IP addresses and we're geolocating them, or figuring out what country they're in. That's what this get country name does. Now again, these are randomly generated, so there's no real insights to be found here. But what you can see is we now know what countries are associated with those IP addresses. And this will work with real data. There's a lot of other things that we can do that with. We can do that with like phone numbers, user agent strings, MAC addresses, all sorts of things like that. So, but now once we have our data like this, we can then present this visually. So if I click on the Visualize tab over here, then let's say we want this to be a bar chart, and we want the country to be on the x-axis, the customer account on the y, and we hit go. We're just going to generate this. What this should get us is we should get a nice bar chart of, I'll make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. You get a nice bar chart of your data, and you can rename this or whatever. Okay. You can also save this include this in a dashboard as well, along with other visualizations, but that's not part of this tutorial. So the last bit of the walkthrough is publishing your data. If you go back to the query view, if you click on the Manage API Access, what this will enable you to do is this will enable you to publish your data, enabling programmatic access to it. So the first thing you have to do is you have to set the permission to whatever it is you want. Now in this case, it's going to inherit the permissions from kind of the root object, which is always deny. So we're going to explicitly set this to allow. Now once you've set it to allow, if you click on this little code here, this will give you a sample code for being able for publishing this data. So this is just kind of the general. If you want to make a curl request, this is how you would do it. If you want to publish the data to Tableau, you can cut and paste this into the web data connector, and that will get the data into Tableau. We also have a Python SDK, link will be in the description below. And we also generate just regular Python code that will paste this data into a Pandas data frame, or the same thing for R. So it will make the call for you, and it'll get your data into a data frame, and you should be good to go. So in conclusion, this walks you through the Getting Started tutorial. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you very much. Happy distilling.